Okay, so this tutorial is going to be about arteries in a cat. So we're going to start off with the subclavian artery, and because we've pulled the limb out, we can actually see part of that subclavian. This branch then would be the superficial cervical artery, and as we describe, it goes to the neck and the shoulder region. After the subclavian turns around the first rib, we name it the axillary artery for main channel. This branch coming to the superficial pectorals would be the external thoracic artery. If we find a branch coming to the deep pectorals, by definition, we're going to call it a lateral thoracic artery. Main channel remains axillary. We're looking for now a large branch that comes off, and that is subscapular artery. It then is going to divide into a thoracodorsal, which will come caudally to supply the latissimus dorsi. That subscapular artery will then give off a caudal circumflex humeral artery. Think about the name. It's caudal circumflexing the humerus. So it goes around the back side of the humerus, and the continuation of that subscapular will just go on as subscapular. After subscapular comes off, our name changes by definition from axillary to brachial. One of the things that comes off of the brachial, well, it doesn't have to, I should say that, is cranial circumflex humeral. And that would have been the broken branch here. Remember, if this is caudal circumflex humeral, the one coming over or under, the biceps brachii muscle cranially is going to be the cranial circumflex humeral. We continue on main channel, and this would still be brachial artery. We now begin to look for branches that might come off between our long head and medial head of our triceps muscle. And by definition, any artery that comes down through there is going to be called a deep brachial. We're in the brachium, and it's going deep into the triceps muscle. Our main channel is still brachial at this point. As we move distally down the humerus, we see branches going to the caudal aspect of the arm, or the brachium, over to the ulna. And any of those branches we're going to call collateral ulnar. This little guy coming off to the cranial aspect of the brachium is going to give rise to a little guy that goes right into the distal end of the biceps, and we're going to call that bicipital. This is superficial brachial, gives rise to bicipital, comes over, and then finally will become the cranial, listen to me, the cranial superficial antebrachial artery. It's going to be cranial, superficially on the antebrachium, and that is the artery in a dog and a cat that is going to run beside the cephalic vein. In cats, we have this cute little thing, this little hole right there. Can you see that? And that is called the supracondylar foramen. All large feline species, or small feline and large, have a supracondylar foramen. And what goes through that is going to be the brachial artery, and we'll get to nerves, but this is the median nerve and the brachial artery that go right through that foramen. As we progress farther, this is still main channel, still called the brachial artery. Several things, will come off that brachial artery that go to the caudal aspect of the antebrachium, and we're going to call those any day and twice on Sunday deep antebrachial arteries. You most often have more than one of those. Cats do not have a common interosseous artery, but instead they have this teeny little thing. Isn't that cute?
So adorable.
Called a cranial interosseous. Inter between bones, inter between the radius and the ulna. Once the cranial interosseous comes off, the main channel is going to change from brachial to median. In a cat, this little guy here that looks like it might be a deep antebrachial is actually the ulnar artery. And hold on one second, and I will prove it to you, because here is the ulnar nerve and the ulnar artery, and if I go find that back, there it is, coming from right there. Did that work out okay? Right. So, main channel here is median. In the cat, the radial artery is main channel. And about this level, see where the median nerve goes? The median artery becomes extremely small, goes to the caudal aspect of the antebrachium, while the radial artery, which is much larger in a cat, comes to the proximal or dorsal side of the antebrachium. As it crosses over the carpus, we call that the dorsal carpal branch. The cat then said, "Oh, snot, I was supposed to be on the backside, or the palmar aspect." And so its dorsal carpal branch decides to dive between metacarpals 2 and 3. And that makes what we call a proximal perforating branch. From there, that artery will then, we don't have it here, it would then come to the deep side of the palmar aspect, where it becomes the deep palmar arch. And because it's deep, any of the vessels that come from that arch would be called palmar metacarpal arteries, and then it would be named by the 2 metacarpal bones that it is closest to, and we pick the lowest. That then will become palmar proper digital arteries as it comes onto the digits. And then it's named by the digit and then axial or abaxial. This concludes our tutorial session of the arteries in a cat. Thank you very much.